The class is going to be partially computer science, partially business. And what it's going to do is teach the kids all the different careers that are available.
The high school is also adding an esports course next year.
The class is going to be partially computer science, partially business. And what it's going to do is teach the kids all the different careers that are available.
This guy already has a plan.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for another webinar tonight. I know your time is very valuable, and we hopefully will only take up an hour of it. But again, thank you for joining us on this deep dive for computer applications, our newest book from the Gaming Concepts curriculum and series. And what we're going to be doing today is kind of going through this in great detail because if you're watching this or you're on here with us tonight, you obviously know about computer applications. You've taught computer applications. Maybe you've had a troubling PTSD moment with computer applications from your past, like I have. So whatever your reason being on here, we appreciate you being here. And hopefully you can get something out of this for either you or your students. So my name is Alex Hervey, and I work for Generation Esports on the education team, along with my colleagues here, Dr. Christy Custer, Heidi Alvin, who's going to be helping us out on the webinar. Heidi's going to be doing a lot of the presentation today, but just know that you're in good hands with most of the ed team here, who will be fielding your questions and going through this curriculum. Heidi, Christy, you want to talk to us just a few facts about yourself before we get started?
Sure. I am one of the authors for the Gaming Concepts curriculum, and I was an educator for 14 years. And now I enjoy being able to take everything that I learned in the classroom and everything that you kind of naturally adopt as a teacher and adding it to these courses to make them easy and user-friendly for teachers.
Absolutely.
And I was an educator for 24 years as a English teacher and building principal, high school building principal, and also one of the co-authors of the Gaming Concepts curriculum. And I will be running the chat today. So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat, and I will either answer your questions right there in the chat, or I'll interrupt Heidi and Alex, and they can answer your questions for our wide and vast studio audience and YouTube audience. I shouldn't say studio audience, our wide and vast YouTube audience that may choose to watch this later.
That's right. Absolutely. So again, yeah, if you want to find any more information about this, I'll plug this right now. You can go to gamingconcepts.gg or always find us on YouTube at Gaming Concepts on YouTube. But let's kick it off, Heidi. Let's learn about Gaming Concepts, computer applications, and get these people what they want to know.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. So this is a really exciting newer course that we have written, and I'm excited to tell you guys about kind of some of the rationale behind it and give you a look into the course and see what is available and what you can expect. So computer applications is all about getting students hands-on with digital tech through real-world projects, and we've rooted them in the gaming industry. And this isn't your typical click here, type this kind of class. Students, of course, will learn the essentials like word processing, spreadsheets, database, and presentation tools. But instead of just checking off boxes, they'll actually use these skills in creative project-based assignments. And here's the twist. We've added entrepreneurship into the mix. So students will be diving into the business and marketing side of gaming, tackling topics like team management, event planning, and marketing strategies. So this is really a great way to build practical tech skills while exploring careers both inside and beyond the gaming world.
Right.
But
And so,
yeah.
sorry, Heidi, I just wanted to say, as somebody who's taught computer applications, in a public school, it is probably one of the most boring classes that you can teach. And that is a true statement, because most of you on here who are watching it who has experience with computer applications, if you're thrown into computer applications to teach, as I was, You are working out of this extremely long workbook. The projects in it are not relevant. I mean, you are learning how to use Excel for the purpose of learning how to use Excel, not to do anything beyond that. And I think that's what makes this course so awesome is that you're building your portfolio of assets or authentic learning um, um, pieces for later use. And so, yeah, kudos to this book.
Yeah, and Alex, you're right. I remember my computer applications course in high school and when I had to take it again in college. And I just remember thinking, first of all, I already know how to do most of this stuff. Secondly, what's the point? It just didn't have any relevance or fun in
Mhm.
it. And
Yeah.
so the question that is out there that this is discussion is answering is there's already a lot of computer apps courses that exist. So why did we decide to write one? Especially when our other courses are known for being so unique and innovative. I mean, shoutcasting, who else has a shoutcasting course? But like you said, traditional computer application courses can be a little dry, pretty boring. And most of the time, it's just students copying tables and recreating worksheets. Like, here's a table, now go copy it in Excel. Riveting stuff, right? Not exactly the kind of assignment that gets students racing to class. All right, so background. 3 of the 4 of us authors on the curriculum, and all 3 of us on this webinar right now are authors. 3 of the 4 of the total authors for the curriculum come from an alternative high school background where we taught in the alternative school setting. And in that setting, figuring out how to engage students was a daily challenge. And we learned that the key to engagement is simple. You use what students are already interested in to make it fun, and you connect it to real life so they can actually see the point. And that's exactly what we set out to do with this course, to blend gaming, which students already love, with entrepreneurship, which connects to real world skills. So to make it fun, we brought in esports. If students are already excited about gaming, why not use that to fuel their learning? And then to make it relevant, we added entrepreneurship. So this isn't just about clicking through menus or filling out worksheets. It's about using tech skills to build something real, like planning a gaming event or developing a marketing strategy, or even exploring how to turn their passion for gaming into a viable career. So this way, students aren't just learning how to use tech tools, they're figuring out why they matter, and they're applying these skills in meaningful, exciting ways. So it's about creating an experience where students are engaged, challenged, and most importantly, having fun while building skills that will stick with them long after this class ends. So you might be thinking, great, but why Google Workspace instead of Microsoft Office? And that's a great question because we know that traditionally computer apps classes tend to lean on Microsoft Office 365 a lot. So this was actually a really big discussion we had when we wrote this book. And in the end, it came down to accessibility and keeping things fun and relevant. So Google Workspace checked all of those boxes. It's free, it's easy to access from anywhere, and it's super collaborative, which is perfect for project-based learning. Plus, we wanted to eliminate tech barriers and make sure that every student, no matter their background or resources or location, could fully participate. And Google tools are everywhere. They're used in schools, workplaces, and daily life. So mastering Google tools gives students skills that are practical, transferable, and valuable no matter where they go next. And plus, there's just something about the simplicity of Google tools that encourages creativity. They're easy to use, but powerful, and they let students focus on the what and the why of a project instead of getting bogged down in all the technical details. So it's keeping the learning experience smooth, accessible, and engaging. All right, so let's talk about the importance of learning computer science. It's becoming a must-have in education. If you go back several years, computer science was kind of something some schools did and it was optional. But we're heading in the direction of a world where understanding code is almost as essential as knowing how to do basic math. And here's why. So first of all, computer science is the backbone of the digital world. It's not just about programming, it's about problem solving, logical thinking, and creativity. And these skills are transferable to almost any career, from healthcare to finance to entertainment. And plus, with the rise of artificial intelligence and automation, having a solid grasp of computer science can give individuals a significant edge in the job market. And the job market loves tech skills. So consider this. Computer-related jobs are currently the #1 source of new wages in the US economy. In fact, there are over 400,000 open computing jobs across the United States, but our education system isn't fully equipped to fill this demand. So by teaching computer science, we're not just preparing students for these roles, we're also fostering innovation and keeping our economy competitive. And the states are catching on to this. Recognizing the importance of these skills, more and more states are integrating computer science into their education requirements. In fact, the majority of states require schools to offer computer science courses, which is a significant increase from just a few years ago. So we are really heading in the. Moreover, several states have made computer science a graduation requirement, ensuring that every student gains this essential knowledge before stepping into the real world. So incorporating computer science into education, it's not just a trend, it's part of the necessary evolution to prepare students for a rapidly changing world. By equipping them with these skills, we're opening doors to opportunities, and we're also ensuring that they have the tools to succeed in various fields.
I think that what's important to note is that when you're talking about computer science in either the middle school space or the high school space, the intrinsic or the learning that happens with computer applications and computer science skills is something that isn't necessarily taught inherently in schools. So there's a lot of problem solving and critical thinking and kind of improvisation where students have to think for themselves. Even though they're given sometimes sets of instruction, they may need to expand upon that, which can definitely help them in the job market later on. And we see that trickle into other areas of the building as well. It's not just contained in the CTE department or elsewhere. It trickles into other subject areas. Christy.
Sorry, I wasn't sure how to interrupt you guys, so I thought I'm going to raise my hand. So we've had a couple of questions in the chat that are asking something to the effect of, do students need prior knowledge of esports or gaming to succeed in this course? So just probably knowing our background, I thought that was something that we should probably get out of the way right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
So could you guys address that?
Absolutely. Christy, why don't you tell them about your extensive background in gaming?
Maybe I'm the one. Okay.
Catch up for that one, Christy.
I know, I did some, I was just going to get it on the side, but I thought, well, if people are listening. So the very short answer is no, you do not need to have an esports background. I have 0 esports background. And the thing that I like to say is that the esports piece of this is the hook that you can reel the kids in on. And the reason why you don't need the esports background is because the kids have the esports knowledge. And so we're not trying to make better video game players. We are trying to make better users of technology, people better at computer applications, especially the Google Workspace. So don't feel like that you have to be an esports person or an expert in esports. That's just one area where a lot of the kids are interested in. And so many of their hands-on projects, which I know Heidi's going to talk about, so many of those hands-on projects will revolve around, maybe building their esports adjacent. It doesn't even have to be esports specific, but maybe their esports adjacent business.
Awesome.
I didn't mean to set myself up for that question, but it did lend itself well to me.
Very well, very well. Yeah, and so we're not, like Christy said, we're not teaching kids how to be better video gamers. We're teaching them skills. And, Alex mentioned that there's a lot of tools that they don't necessarily get in other classes. And so we took that into consideration when we wrote this curriculum, because we don't just cover the basics, right? Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides. Those are the bread and butter of most computer apps course. And of course, we definitely get comfortable creating, formatting, and collaborating with these tools. But we didn't stop there. We wanted to go beyond the basics and include other tools that students really use in real life and in the gaming industry. So we added things like Gmail, because professional communication is a skill that students really need to learn. Google Forms for creating surveys and collecting data. Google Drive to teach students how to organize their digital lives, a skill we all need. Google Draw to create graphics and visuals, Google Sites so they can build their simple websites, even Google Analytics and Trends, because understanding data is key for marketing and business decisions, and they do market research in this course as they build their business plan. Google Maps and Reviews, Google Chrome, we talk about the settings and extensions, Google Translate, Google Calendar, because time management, Google Help Center, so students know how to troubleshoot and find solutions on their own. Google Takeout, so they can understand how to manage and download their digital data. Google Groups for team communication and coordination, especially in gaming events or projects. And we even introduced them to Google Gemini, because honestly, they're already using AI, whether we want them to or not. So instead of pretending it's not happening, we're teaching them how to use it the right way to boost creativity, to problem solve, and actually enhance their projects. It's about showing them how to work with AI and not just copy and paste from it. So this course isn't just about learning how to click around in Google Docs. It's about showing students how to use a whole suite of tools to create, collaborate, communicate in ways that are relevant to real life projects. So whether they're planning an esports event, managing a gaming business idea, or just trying to stay organized, they're learning skills that they can use far beyond the classroom.
And Heidi, I want to make note of, computer applications is this specific course, not necessarily normal or traditional computer application courses, fits the bill, and it kind of overshadows or umbrellas so many different things, like you touched on a second ago: business, entrepreneurship, media creation. There's AV, editing and stuff in here. There's so many things in here. You might have 4 or 5 other courses that you might have siloed alone in your high school, wrapped into this one course. And as we look at teacher shortages and not having enough staff in the building to teach all of the different classes that our kids want to take, these gaming concepts curriculums, and especially computer applications, rolls a lot of those into one, where kids can get exposure to a lot of different courses focused around the same kind of curriculum and standards that we're going to be looking at.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And so let's take a look at what is actually in this course. So I am putting in the chat a link which will take you to our sample if you want to go there. Or you can
Alex,
scan
sorry, Heidi. Alex,
Okay.
just for the people online, will this be available?
We'll link it in the comments we'll link it in the video description below.
Awesome. Thank
Yep.
you, Alex.
And there's also a QR code on the screen that they can use to access this as well. So this will take you to our hard copy sample. As you'll see in a little bit, we have both a hard copy and we have a digital format as well, because we know some teachers are old school like me, and I want to have that hard copy so I can highlight it and fold down the pages, and other teachers want to have it as a digital format. So we'll show you that in a little bit, but this is going to take you to our paper hard copy version, a sample, not the whole book, but a sample of this, so that you can follow along as I go through some of the topics that you'll see in this course. So this course is like leveling up in a video game. Each unit builds new skills, unlocks new challenges, and gets students one step closer to becoming digital bosses, right? I'm going to briefly break down the scope and sequence for you. So let's take a look first here at Unit 1. This is where students power up. They get introduced to Google Workspace and the basics of computers, but with an entrepreneurial twist. So we cover the essentials, Google Docs, Sheets, Slides, and even managing a Google Calendar. Students also learn the basics of computer systems, troubleshooting, cybersecurity, so they can defend their digital fortress. And because teamwork makes the dream work, they practice leadership and collaboration skills. So think of it as team building esports edition. Unit 2 is where students start thinking like esports business pros. They explore what makes a successful entrepreneur and how to turn gaming passion into a career. We talk email management, data security, and even how to back up files. Because losing your final project to a rogue hard drive crash is a rite of passage we would rather students not have to endure. They also get into practical tools like Gantt charts, which are fancy timelines for projects, job prep, including resume writing and interview skills, because one day professional gamer might actually be on their resume and it'll need to look good.
Now, I do want to say, Heidi, there is a section where the teacher does purposely crash the kid's hard drive so they can deal with that in a safe space. There's a lesson in it for everybody. I'm just kidding.
All right, Unit 3 is where we ask, what does the world really want? And students dive into market research. They conduct their own market research using Google tools. They learn about ethical data collection, and they figure out how to analyze trends. This is where they begin to brainstorm their business ideas, they practice data collection, and they even use AI tools to refine their thinking. Plus, they explore career planning because knowing where you're headed is half the battle. So this unit is all about turning data into action and ideas into opportunity so they can have the foundation for what they need in the next unit as they begin to plan their business. All right, so Unit 4 is when they start getting serious about learning how to build a business plan that's safe, sustainable, and successful. We cover health, safety, and the environment when we think about creating businesses. They dive into financial forecasting, key performance indicators, marketing strategies, all the stuff that makes or breaks a business. And yes, they're also writing resumes, cover letters, and job applications. Because even if you're dreaming of running your own esports empire, it's good to have a solid plan B. And Unit 5 is where students level up their marketing and communication skills. They learn how to craft powerful campaigns, handle tough conversations with empathy, and build visual branding using Google tools. They create social media ads, build websites, and explore continuous improvement processes. And we also cover digital privacy, biases in technology, and how to build an online portfolio, and they practice interview skills. And here's our last unit. Students take everything they've learned and craft a killer business pitch. They'll use Google Slides to create presentations that don't put people to sleep and practice delivering with confidence. They run feedback sessions because constructive criticism is a life skill, and our young people need to learn how to take constructive criticism without becoming offended and being able to use that constructive criticism to improve. And they also need to learn how to give constructive criticism appropriately and constructively. They explore tools like Google Translate to reach a global audience, and they'll keep thinking about career paths and how trends, both local and global, shape the future of gaming and esports. So
I mean,
each unit, yeah.
I was gonna say, so I mean, if you can't tell, right? Like my point was earlier, is that this definitely encapsulates so many different areas within a CTE department that other departments, the core classes are going to love. Because if I had to sit through one more PowerPoint presentation from my kids, it was going to be the death of me for sure. Because no one but me seemed to be trying to teach them that you don't just read it off of the PowerPoint slide and you don't put everything on it. And their presentation skills were terrible. So, like, this course offers that support to students to have these better presentation skills, business skills, communication skills, and kind of basically, like being a decent competent human in today's, digital society. And I think that that's great because all of this bleeds into those core classes where students can be, really outperforming those other students that aren't in something like this because of the skills they're learning here, and can find that passion through something that they're interested in, which is esports, and then also now digital media and computer applications.
Awesome. Yeah. Each unit builds real world skills that
Yeah,
students can use far beyond the course,
right.
whether they're heading into esports, entrepreneurship, or just figuring out how to manage their inbox. The
Right.
goal is to make sure students walk away with skills that they can actually use and confidence in applying them to the real world.
Right. Exactly. Christy? Oh, you're muted.
Happens to all of us.
Dang it. Dang it. Dang it. I have two questions from the audience. The first one, Alex, I think kind of goes to you. Can this, because you just talked about it, can this course be used for career and technical education credit? And does it align with any industry standards?
Yeah, so it could definitely be used for a CTE credit or a CTE course. The specifics on that are going to be dependent on your specific state and district on what they want to use it for. But across the country in the United States, a vast majority of all state departments of education have computer applications on the books. And Heidi's going to talk to you about how that works in just a second here. But yes, it can be used as a CTE course for sure. The second one is, does it align with any standards? And the answer to that is definitely. It aligns to numerous different types of standards. It would just be up to your students to complete those pathways, and those certificate programs. But yes, it definitely does.
And then the next question for either one of you, Heidi, maybe you, does the curriculum provide any built-in assessments or grading rubrics for teachers?
All of our projects contain rubrics that students can access and teachers can access. So it gives students an idea of the expectations, and it helps teachers to know how we suggest that they grade the different projects. There is in our digital platform, there is a grade book, and there are different settings to provide grading opportunities for various lessons.
Perfect.
Okay, great. Yeah, so talking about those standards, we address several sets of national standards in this curricula. We address ISTE, we address the Information Technology Career Cluster knowledge and skill statements. We address the National Career Clusters Framework, essential knowledge and skills, and we address the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning, the CASEL CASEL standards, and we're STEM.org approved. But what's even better than that is we are aligned to your state standards. So whatever state you're in, we are aligned, and we have tables and documentation that will show how the national standards we used correlate to your state's standards. So we have this for all 50 states, and so you can contact us for documents that show how our curricula align to your state standards, courses, and CTE pathways.
And Heidi, I want to make note on this because, as you look here at the example that we've given California, right? Well, we like Heidi said, we do have all 50 states done. But looking here, you can see here that, on this slide, these are the California specific courses that we align to, and these are the national codes that we align to in courses. So if you have one of these on your books at your district, you're good. You can already use this. This is your new resource to use for a course that's already been approved by your board, and is able to be taught in your building without any board approval. In most cases, this can just be supplemented in for sure. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
You guys,
Yes.
I think this is a really good one too, that we didn't hit right at the very beginning, or I don't think we did. What grade level is this course best suited for?
It's adaptable. I would say around freshman is probably where it is going to most likely fit, but it's very adaptable to multiple different grades.
Especially probably, well, not probably, especially considering the entrepreneurship piece.
Mhm.
If you really wanted to emphasize that entrepreneurship piece, maybe you could go up, well, up or down. I like how you said adaptable, Heidi.
Yeah, and I really see it as somebody that's been in the CTE space. When you have a generic intro to business or business class at that CTE level, you're going to get a mix of students in there. It's not just going to be one set grade
True.
level. So I think this is a better answer to that would be that this is highly accessible for high school students, wherever
Good.
that's going to fit. So.
Okay, and then follow up to this one, just those basic questions that we didn't consider. What or how long does it typically take to complete this course? And can it be offered as a semester or year long?
So this is written as a year-long course. If a teacher wanted to adapt it to be a semester, they could, but there is plenty of content in there enough to fill an entire year. And that's the way it's written, is an entire year course.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. So I'm going to walk you through a lesson shortly, but there's one more thing I want to mention before I do, and that is that this curriculum contains the positive mental health. So all of our courses contain mental health moments, and this is preventative mental health that we use to address students' emotional and mental well-being. And these are embedded into the lessons. They're not standalone, cheesy, today we're learning about honesty lessons. They're embedded into the lessons as students go through the different content. So they relate it to what they're learning. And it makes it a lot more authentic. It makes the students enjoy it more, the teachers enjoy it more, and it actually makes an impact. We have an entire webinar over the impacts of these mental health moments. And I would like to spend more time here telling you about them, but there's a wealth of information about them. Just know that they are in there. And so not only are we teaching computer skills and entrepreneurship skills and career skills, we're also teaching social skills and mental and emotional wellness also.
And this is a cornerstone of the gaming concepts curriculum as a whole, is this embedded and integrated mental health curriculum. Because when you disguise it in there as something that is what they're already doing and something that they're passionate about, which is anything from esports, then they're gonna have a little bit more ownership of it. They're gonna be a little bit more honest when they're talking about it and discussing it, and they're gonna make that connection a little bit deeper, because it's not something like Heidi said where you're stopping the train to start talking about feelings when nobody wants to do that, right? It's neither the teacher nor the student. So we have seen a lot of benefits on this, as we can promote with our medical journal that we have published about it, as well as the data that we've collected, that this stuff really works because the students are more interested in it than other programs supporting mental health.
And it's another benefit of our background in alternative education, is because we got really good at learning how to engage and help hurting kids and teach them the skills that they needed in order to be successful, productive, adjusted adults, and doing it in an authentic way. So we've brought that over into this curriculum. All right. So the unit pages I showed you a few minutes ago, like I said, they came from our hard copy book of our curriculum. But we actually have an even better way to deliver the content to you and to your students using our digital learning platform that we call Blueprint. And you can create a free account at blueprint.study. So you just type in the URL blueprint.study. And when you do, it will create a free account and you'll receive free content on your platform within 24 hours of creating your account. So it's really neat because it gives you the opportunity to see how this works for free, and you even get some free content that you can try out with your students. So if you would like to, as you're watching this webinar, feel free to create an account at blueprint.study. You go to blueprint.study, you click the sign up button, and then that will take you to a box where you can use single sign on. And so I'm going to transfer my screen now over to the Blueprint course. So give me one moment.
And Alex, while she's doing that, I think we're answering this, but just because this person just wants to make sure, what kind of technology or software do students need to successfully complete this course?
That's a good question. Nothing. I mean, the internet is really what you need. So obviously you're going to need a Google account. So hopefully your school district uses Google. If not, you can just sign up for one and use all of the complete suite of Google Workspace tools, even if you don't have kind of an enterprise or academic education account with Google. So yeah, students can sign up for free. Everything that the site or the course wants you to use is also completely free. There is nothing that you need to purchase to complete this course. And again, all you need is an internet connection. So whether that's going to be on a tablet or a Chromebook or a laptop or a desktop, you will be successful with this course.
All right, so here is the digital platform. This is the computer applications course. And as you'll see, all of the content is housed right here in an easy to navigate, easy to access form. There's each of the units, as we described earlier. And then within each of the units are all of the lessons. So I'm going to take you to a lesson here in Unit 6. It's going to be Unit 6, the 10th lesson and the first day of the 10th lesson. So that is 6.10.1 right here. And so when you get in here, you're going to notice this first page that you land on is the overview page. And this is the page that the instructor is going to see. Students won't see this page because it has all of the top secret instructor notes on it. However, students do have access to this lesson overview page, which is pretty much the same thing except without the instructor's instructions. So students can see the lesson overview, which gives them an idea of what they're going to learn, and also the lesson objectives. And the nice thing about that is if you are in a district where you are required to write down the objectives on the board every day or present them to your students somehow, they're right here where you can see them here, or your students can see them here, and so you don't have to write them down. So again, these are things that this curriculum is written by teachers and things that teachers think of. All right, so the next section of the teacher instructions provides a table that lists the standards that are addressed right here. And again, these are the national standards that are addressed, and we have documentation that can show you how these align to your state standards. It also tells you which Google skills are introduced. It tells you which materials are needed, and it also gives a little blurb about the mental health moments. So the teacher knows what the student is going to be learning about as far as mental and emotional wellness. So the materials needed are listed and linked in this materials needed section, but most of the time they're also linked in the instructions below as they're needed. And this is so that you can just click right here and you don't have to scroll up and scroll down. And as you'll see shortly, videos are embedded in the student blueprint pages. So you have the option of having students watch the video on their own device or projecting the video to watch as a class. Now, you typically won't see worksheets listed up here. And the reason why is that any worksheet that exists in the hard copy student companion have been integrated into these blueprint pages so that they can be completed, submitted, and graded within the blueprint system to make things easier for the teacher. So if you have this digital format, you don't have to print off worksheets and collect worksheets. It's all done within these pages here. So let's scroll on down to the directions. You'll notice that the headings in the teacher instructions correspond to the page titles from the right side navigation screen. So over here, the first part of the teacher instructions says influences, and that means the student should be on the influences student blueprint page as you work through this section of the lesson. And this is what the student blueprint page looks like. Now, you'll notice that this lesson starts out by telling the teacher to read or paraphrase the following. So a lot of lessons start out giving the teacher a prompt to say to open the lesson, and you're welcome to read these prompts word for word or paraphrase them. Most of these prompts are also displayed on the student pages, and this helps the English language learners follow along, and it allows visual learners to read the words you're saying. Also, this way it can be translated because our digital platform can be translated into almost any language. And then the other thing that this does is it allows students to go back to review the information you give them in these prompts.
Heidi,
Yeah.
we have a question just for clarification. Is there a recommended pacing guide for teachers to follow when implementing the course?
Do they mean as far as how long each thing should take, or how long the class should take?
I think how long each thing should take, since you kind of already talked about it's a year-long course.
Okay. Yeah. So within the class, you can see how long.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see how long each section is supposed to take. So this tells you this is 20 minutes, so that means 20 minutes for all of this. And then when you get down to the next cue, this tells you how much this part should take. And so that kind of helps you keep on track and let you know how fast if you need to be hurrying up or slowing down.
Yep.
Does that answer the question?
They said that's exactly what they missed it, is what they said.
Perfect. All right. So going back here, the next heading in the instructions is gaming and esports trends. So that tells students that that tells you that students should be on the page with the same name. And students will get good at knowing when to move to new pages after just a few lessons. They'll think, okay, there's nothing left on this page, so I guess it's time to go to the next page. So this part of the lesson includes a video, and you'll notice that the students have access to the video on their blueprint page. And if your students have headphones, you could have them watch it individually. However, my personal preference, if I was teaching this lesson, would be to show it to the class. So I would, down here in the instructions, click this link and it would open up the video, and I would project it from my device so that we could all watch it together. How you choose to have students watch videos is completely up to you. Even if you choose to have them watch them as a class, it's beneficial to have the videos available so that students can watch them if they miss a day, or if they need to go back and review the information, or if they want to have closed captions on it for English language learners. So after the video, there are discussion questions that students are supposed to go over. So here's what they look like on the student page. You'll see that the questions are listed here. So this makes it easier for the instructor because you don't have to write these questions on the board or repeat them over and over again. But you'll also notice that there is space for students to record their responses. This is completely optional and up to you as the instructor. If you want students to just discuss and not type out their answers, that's completely fine. But if you want an extra layer of accountability, you can choose to have students type and submit their answers. Just be sure you let your students know what you want them to do. Another benefit of having this space to read and respond to the questions is that if a student is English language learning, it can be translated. And also if a student misses class, they can go back in and make this up. And it just makes things a lot easier on the teacher. So in this particular lesson, my preference as the instructor would be to handle this as a group discussion and not require students to type out their answers. But again, that's completely up to you. Now, at the end of the discussion questions, there's a button that says continue to section 2. Some pages contain more than one section. If that's the case, and when that's the case, you will see section headers in the teacher instructions. So here under influences, it doesn't say sections. So then you know there's only one section under there. But under gaming and esports trends, you'll see section 1 and section 2. And this tells you as a teacher that there's going to be a section 2 that the students will need to look at. So to access additional sections from a page, students simply click the continue to section 2 at the bottom of the page. And again, students will become accustomed to watching for these continue buttons and knowing when to click them. All right. In section 2, students are given directions for creating a presentation. Now, most of the projects in gaming concepts courses have corresponding rubrics. And these are linked in the teacher instructions under materials needed and within the directions, and also on the student page as well. And so let me switch over so that students can see this particular rubric.
And the way that these are done here is through a PDF. So it'll download to their machine so that students can have the PDF for use when they're either self-grading or can be graded by the teacher, and so they have this information.
Yep. So students or the teacher can click on the link and the rubric will come up, and then they have access to that. You can print it off if you want it printed, whatever you prefer. So after going through the rubric with students, then students are given further instructions on their blueprint page about what to do for this particular project. And again, having these directions in written form prevents you as the instructor from having to either write them down or repeat the directions multiple times, because we know that even when they're written down, they're going to ask you to repeat them. And so this just makes things easier on you. And then students can submit their projects directly into Blueprint. We actually have several features. On this page here, you can see that there is a discussion board. You saw on this page that there are options for students to type in. We also have features where students can do surveys or polls or multiple select or multiple choice or slider scales. We keep it pretty interactive on these lessons. But with this one, there's a place for the students to submit their project by uploading it as a file. And again, this is really nice because you can, of course, have them share it to you with the Google sharing features. But if they submit it this way, it puts it all in one place and you can access it from your gradebook in Blueprints and everything's in one place. But that's optional. Have students submit it to you whatever way works best for you. All right. The last part of this lesson is a journal prompt. And this journal prompt is usually at or near the end of the lesson. And as with everything in the lessons, it is your choice if and how you want to use it. Some teachers really emphasize the journal prompts because they're great writing practice. It's a great way to incorporate English language arts into this curriculum. But a lot of other teachers, sometimes if they need to, they'll feel comfortable skipping these journal prompts when their students need extra class time for a different part of the lesson. So some teachers read the journal prompts, other teachers just check to make sure the students did them. Even other teachers use them for extra credit. The point with the journal prompts is they are there for you as the instructor to use at your discretion in whatever way you believe is the best for your students in your situation. When you do have students complete journal prompts, they can type their responses in the corresponding Blueprint student page. When a student is logged into their account, there will be a text box on this page that they can type their response into, and it will be submitted to you for grading through Blueprints. And what's
great about journals is that journals traditionally, are trying to reconnect, like a summative knowledge understanding of the lesson with the student at the end, right? And so what we're doing with this is that you're, reconnecting what they've learned and how are they internalizing it? How are they understanding this content, which is what the journal writing is all about. But you can take it a step further and show writing progression over time because all of these journals are exportable to show in administration or some sort of ed team or parents that look here's where we started day one, here's where we started or where we ended day 186, and you can see, wow, look at the difference in writing capabilities and abilities with these journal prompts. So they're very beneficial to this. And another point I wanted to make as Heidi kind of wraps this up is that, as you can see, I mean, these are not just like activities that kids are going to do, as an esports class, right? This is not that. This is a full curriculum that is standard aligned, objective based, and is incredibly rigorous. And it's also turnkey. That's the key here, is that we have provided, as teachers writing this, trying to anticipate everything that another teacher would need in coming in and teaching this course. Basically, we have provided you with everything you would absolutely need to, one, get it approved and show to your administrator, two, teach it without any prior knowledge, three, grade it and understand the assessments well, and four, have a good time with it. So, this type of curriculum is a huge benefit to you, but also to your students, so that they can have a good time. Christy.
To go along with that, the question was, I didn't know quite where to put this in there. Is the course designed to be a standalone curriculum, or can it be integrated into existing business or technology classes?
I mean, you can use it however you want. So, I mean, pick and choose, right? So what's great is that, Blueprint allows for that flexibility and customization, where you can take this lesson and you can see it right there in the top right. You can click edit lesson, and it will allow you to edit this lesson however you like. So you can throw in your stuff, and change things, change the video, change the prompts, and it becomes yours, right? It's a great thing for you to be able to do that, where you are able to kind of really make it to your liking.
And then a follow-up to this, or to the whole thing, what are some of the biggest challenges teachers face when implementing this course, and how can they be overcome?
I'll let Heidi take that one.
I haven't heard of a lot of challenges. I think I'm sure there are, but we haven't heard about a lot. And I think a couple of the reasons why we haven't heard a lot is because, one, it's written for teachers by teachers. So we have the experiential thinking of, hey, some teachers really like to, open all of the materials needed before they start class. And so we have them all listed right here. Other teachers want to do it as they're going through the directions, so we have them listed here. I mean, there's a lot of things that we were able to think about because of our experience in the classroom. Another reason why it doesn't seem to be too difficult to implement is because we've made it to be flexible. So if you love the journal prompts, do the journal prompts. If you don't feel like that fits in with your class, don't do them. It can also, as Alex said, it can also be turnkey, where you can say directly, read or paraphrase the following, and you actually read and paraphrase this. Or if you have more knowledge about this particular topic, you're welcome to say it the way you want to say it. And this is the other reason why you don't actually have to have any knowledge about esports, because we tell you what to say to teach about esports in lessons that are applicable. So Christy or Alex, can you guys think of anything else? I mean, I sure don't want to say, oh, no one ever has any issues, but I think we do a pretty good job of making it flexible enough that any teacher can use it in any setting. It can be used in an after-school setting. It can be used as a club setting. It can be used as a summer school course. It's really flexible for anything.
Well, and like Alex said, I think maybe some of the reason that we don't get as much of the negative feedback, don't get me wrong, we get suggestions. We get suggestions on things that they would like to see, and we're constantly updating the course. I mean, that's one of the nice things about all of our courses, is we're able, if somebody has a great idea, we don't have to wait till the next edition. We can make changes right here into Blueprint. But teachers are doing that also. They can edit their own lessons. And so if there's something they don't like about it, or there's something that's difficult, they just edit the lesson, I think is also what's happening.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it really what you're looking at it's a living course because as Christy mentioned, we update this as needed. And so, when we get feedback from you and we get feedback from students, we make those changes and then it's just pushed out into the live copy, into the copies that you're seeing. And so, compare that with, Pearson or Discovery Ed where they make changes maybe once a year if you're lucky, or once every 3 years, whatever their product life cycle determines. But this is continually updated with the best practices and the most up to date information.
Awesome. So that really, sums up a lot about this course. Of course, there's a lot more information for you to look at. To learn more about Blueprint, I would suggest that you go to blueprint.study and make an account. It's free. And even if you don't make an account, on that front page there's all these little aspects of the course that you can kind of play with to see the functionality of the course even without creating an account. So it's pretty user friendly, and our tech team is great about answering any questions or helping with any issues that people might have with it.
Yeah,
One
and that's
last
something else that's important is the team that we have in place. You're going to talk to a real person and chat with a real person when you contact us because we know that the teacher's time is valuable and you don't have time to sit around on chat or on a call waiting for somebody to answer. And so, as most of us at the company are teachers or former teachers, we know that your time is valuable. And so, you will get answered and get your information from a real person quickly, which I love.
And if you would like some more information about these things, if your school is wanting to adopt this and you want some more in-depth explanation on how to use this, or you want us to help you figure out the best way to use it in your own particular classroom setting, we do offer professional development, and this can be online or in person. And we can help you with whatever thing you're wanting help with as regards to these courses. And so we have professional development courses that are kind of pre-planned that you can say, okay, that's what I want. Or you can say, I want something completely different because this is what my teachers are using it for. And we will do professional development for you to help you, make it flexible to your particular situation.
And as somebody that's been through a lot of technology pilots in my day and ran a lot of them, the number one thing you see with teachers and technology failure or initiative failure across school district is lack of training. So, for instance, how many of your teachers are utilizing all of the different types of, onboard or native applications on their computers? Probably very few, right? And so when you are trying to build an esports pathway or you're starting an esports initiative, it's so critical to have that training built in because otherwise the teachers lose that drive and that knowledge of how I can continually be better, right? And so it's such an important aspect to have us come back in and retrain your teachers and let you know what's going on new and how are things going with them and just to get that kind of esports pedagogy through them so that they're always working towards best practices for you and your students.
And then the last thing that I'd leave you with is just remember that we have 5 other really great classes that students can have access to in your school. And if you have questions about those, we have samples of each of those on our website, and we have standards and we have professional development and all the support for all the things.
Yeah, I knew the rub was coming here at the end. You're trying to plug something else, Heidi. So
Yep,
good job,
always.
good job sneaking it in there. So
Yep.
yeah, I mean exactly. We have a lot of resources for every type of course or class you want to do. I'm going to drop some resources here in the chat. These are again also offered in the description below for if you're watching this on YouTube. The first one is just going to be if you're ready to go right now, you want to chat with us right now. Let's talk. Let's get a demo. Let's see what's going on. Second one is going to be our YouTube page. If you like this, you want to see more content, you want to see what else we're doing for gaming concepts and doing for students through esports. Yeah, Heidi, if you want to show that that last page there for the webinar that you were doing, the presentation, that would be great.
Oh, the one before.
Yeah. We'll just stick on that.
Okay.
And then the final one is just our website, gamingconcepts.gg. I do want to open up if there's any last questions here before we go. We are available to take questions from the audience. Anybody?
Might have got it. I should have saved some for the end. Sorry.
So many good questions that were brought up.
Typing away over here.
Yeah. No problems. Okay. Well, I'm just going to call it early then. So, so hopefully you see the value in this, because computer applications not only is a highly required course across the US, but it's a highly desired course across the US. And not just because it's desired because of its, career outlook or the connection to computer science, but it's because the skills that are inherent with computer science and computer applications are just, they're just part of our everyday lives. Like we could not function right now as competent professional adults without the knowledge of computer applications, whether we learned it the easy way through high school or we learned it the hard way as we got into our professions and learning it on the job. We are here with this course to support that effort in building these students into a digital age. And so hopefully you guys can see this with everything that we've presented with computer applications. So Christy, Heidi, I just want to say thank you again for all the work that you've done for this presentation and also for the book, because I know it's a huge undertaking to put this book together and align it and all that stuff, and everything that you've done to make teachers' lives easier, which is our whole goal. That should be our motto, is that we are here to save you time. As former teachers, we don't want you to have to do that. We will do that for you. So again, thank you so much for all you guys do here for the students and for these books. So again, I'm going to plug it one more time. Go ahead and please like, subscribe, hit that bell so you can get notifications when we are uploading new videos on the Gaming Concepts YouTube page. You can visit us at gamingconcepts.gg. And thanks again for this webinar, and we will see you at the next one.